Welcome to Inspiring Possible. I'm Christy Pennison, former stuck person turned therapist and dream consultant. Are you feeling stuck, overwhelmed, uncertain, or just need a little inspiration? Then I want to help you gain the clarity, confidence, and courage to create possibilities and live a life you love. Because folks, life's too short to be miserable. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Whoop, whoop. Welcome back, inspiring possible people. I am so excited to be back with you in 2025. I am really excited for this year and really renewed and re-energized to really hopefully bring you some thoughts for your life, honestly, and helping you move past whatever stuck places or uncertainty that you're experiencing to help you find what will be aligned for you in this year. So I'm so excited to be back. For those of you who listen pretty regularly, you've probably realized that we haven't had an episode in probably about a month or so, a little bit longer than that. In fact, our last episode for me personally was exactly what I needed, and it has really been helpful for me as I am learning to not only just lead myself, but learn how to lead others and even be able to provide really, really great information, perspective, insights to you in this coming year. And so thank y'all for sticking around and thank you for coming back because at the end of 2024, probably at the beginning of November, middle of November, I actually hit a really burnout place, to be quite honest with you. And it's crazy because, I do this podcast, Inspire Possibilities. I know some of these great tools to prevent this, but even even if you know all the things, it doesn't mean that you are immune to going through struggles. And last year was such an amazing year in a lot of ways, but it was a very tiring year because it was a year of work, guys. I did some work last year. I don't know what last year was for you, but last year was a lot of changes and challenges and really exciting things, but a lot of adjustment. And I think we all go through seasons in life. And so when I got to the end of the season last year, it was really some time to reset. And so that's what I did. I did take my own advice that I give you a lot. And I took some moments to pause, to find clarity, and figure out where to go next. And we've talked about that on the podcast. And so, you know, sometimes you have to take a pause and say, what is most important to me? And what is the priority? And what do I need to incorporate in my life to feel aligned? And so, if that is you, I encourage you to take those moments to pause, ask questions. And hopefully, today I might give you some insight into some things that you can think about moving into 2025. I am so pumped for what could be possible in this year. And really, the theme of this year, I'm going to kind of put it out there. And I heard it, I can't take credit for it. I read it in an email somewhere, I can't remember where, but it stuck with me. And I think the title of this email was Impossible is Just a Word. Okay, think about that. We're leaving the word impossible in the dust. And this year, it's all about imagining what's possible for you and taking bold steps to make it happen. And guys, let me be honest with you. Sometimes taking bold steps is about having a hard conversation. Taking a bold step is about saying no to something. Taking a bold step is to say, listen, I'm tired of living this way. Or last year, towards the end of the year, I got tired of like just feeling like I was out of alignment because that is not me. I do not like that. And so sometimes it's about leaving the word impossible behind us and reminding ourselves that anything is possible. It really is. And it can go 1,000 different directions, and that's okay. I mean, I have seen the impossible become possible in my own life. And I think also about business. And I guess the reason why business comes up for me is because, you know, when I started a business about 5 years ago, or this podcast even a few years ago, I couldn't have imagined it getting to where it is today. Like, no clue. I just had a wish and a dream and really a calling that I just stepped out on very boldly, might I add. And I'm not saying that everybody should do this, but I mean, I stepped so boldly that I sold my house, moved back to my hometown, for those of you who have heard the story, and really just put everything into the vision of what I thought could be. And my vision was still limited then. But things have happened even this past year that have been crazy as far as like relationship. I entered in a new relationship last year, and that was something that seemed impossible because it just wasn't happening. So I want you to think about some things that maybe in your life that have happened that you thought was impossible. You're like, this is not going to happen. And reflect back of even what led you to this year, of what possibilities have actually been created for you that you either created, maybe there's been an open door, maybe, you know, divine, intervention happened and it became possible for you. But there is such incredible stories that I just love hearing. And it could be something that you don't think is that motivational, inspiring, but guys, it's inspiring. When there has been something that is created out of nothing, then I'm sorry, but that's inspiring. And I think if I can do it, this is the reason why I kind of do this podcast because it's my pay it forward podcast. And I believe that if it's possible for me, it's possible for you. And I realize I haven't even scratched the surface of possibilities. And together, I feel like we're going to make this year amazing. I don't want to hype the year up too much, but I really just think it can be the year. It's 2025. We're a quarter of a decade into the 2000s. Whoop, whoop. And that's incredible. And I think there's a lot of possibilities. And so I want to deliver you some ideas or some thoughts to consider and maybe inspire your year since we're at the beginning. Whoop, whoop is of some things that I would like you to take into consideration as you move forward into this new year because New Year's can be overwhelming, I guess, so to speak, for a lot of people because they feel like, oh my gosh, I have to create all these goals. I have to set these intentions. I got to like change my life drastically. And I want to encourage you to, even though I'm hyping up the new year right now, like to take what you want and leave the rest because at any point in time along the journey, you can create a new goal. You can make a change. You can set an intention. You can start taking baby steps towards something. And if New Year's never go well for you, like at the beginning of the year, it just never you don't get the motivation. Maybe you need to get through January and then start in February. Maybe you need to start in the summer. I don't know. Then give yourself permission to take a pause and kind of let go. So, here are some things to focus on, or maybe some different ways to look at this new year that maybe you haven't looked at before. And one of those ways is to focus on what I call input goals over output goals. So, let's focus on what we can control, the effort, the energy, and the love we pour into what we do, because that is where the magic happens. This is maybe a metaphor. Think about it like planting seeds. You don't obsess over the fruit. Okay. Actually, shout out to my stepmom. She, is the gardener in the family. I'm still working on this, folks, as you might have heard before. But when you put a seed in the ground, you water the soil, give it some sunshine, and trust the process. And I think that in a society that values an outcome, it doesn't mean that we don't want to set goals that could be the outcome we're striving for. But what I've learned and that I am learning in this season of my life is how can I focus on what I'm putting in and surrendering the outcome? Because there's a lot of things in life we don't have control over, but I just want to trust the process. I want to trust that I'm going to set this goal maybe to, add this new thing into my life or start this new hobby. But I don't know if I'm going to do great at it. I don't know if I'm going to try this hobby and learn that this is not for me. But I want to make sure that I'm at least putting things into my life. In fact, one of the things I was talking to my friend, we were talking about, hey, what are your goals for this year? And of course, on the business side of things, there are strategic goals and plans that we put in place for the year, the quarter. But personal goal setting, like goal setting for your life, can be hard. And so I have started percolating about this and I've tried to refigure like what is most priority for me right now and what's something new that I want to do. And actually, a lot of my goals are around slowing down and taking more time to journal and reflect because I find that when I do that more often and really practice that mindfulness of being mindful of how am I showing up? How do I want to show up better? How do I want to show up differently? That often really yields way more things in my life. And it could be just being present for the people that are in front of me at that moment in time. But regardless of what goal it is, sometimes it's more about focusing on the seeds. Like, what seeds am I planting? What behaviors and habits am I doing a little bit differently in my life today? Or what is one small habit? I think sometimes when we look at goals, it's so overwhelming that we give up when it gets a little hard. And that's why I think really with this whole creating possibilities, it starts small, guys. It starts really small. And just making these small changes over a period of time and showing up consistently can really yield big results. So maybe focus on the seeds this year. Focus on the seeds. What are you planting? What are the inputs? And also just remember, take some time. There are going to be some things you're going to have to overcome. We are not chasing perfection here, people. We're taking steps. And just like I said earlier, even baby steps count. So progress over perfection all day long in 2025. Last but not least, so we got the focusing on the seeds, progress over perfection. The last but most important thing that really is the heart of this podcast, and it really is the heart of creating possibilities, and that is belief. Belief is the foundation for anything. I love the quote, if you believe you can, you will, and if you believe you can't, you won't. If you don't believe in your dream, who will? And folks, this is the year too. I was listening to podcasts recently with Mel Robbins. She just wrote a book like Let Them. And it's all about like letting other people do their stuff and you doing you. Okay. And it doesn't mean we don't care about the person next to us, but so many times we let other people's feedback influence our belief. And I'm not saying that if I'm really being delusional that I need somebody to come in and be like, listen, let's check this thought. But I remember I watched a movie recently when I did take one of my little breaks when I went on a little vacay because that helped me clear my head. I watched this super inspiring movie about this first woman to swim the English Channel. And I am sorry, I cannot remember her name. But what I loved about that movie that depicted, it's on Disney. So if you want to go find it, I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name. But one of the things that stood out to me is there were so many people that did not believe in her making that a possibility. In fact, there were a lot of people who didn't believe she could do it. People believed that's not possible. And what I loved about that story is it didn't happen overnight for her, but she had a belief. And that belief is what drove her to creating that possibility. And so we really want to strengthen that belief muscle together this year because belief is the foundation of possibility. Someone had to have an idea for something to emerge. I mean, I fly sometimes when I go to places. I don't know if you've ever been on an airplane, but I've flown a few places. And when I get up in an airplane, I'm like, this is incredible. Like, if somebody hadn't thought to themselves, how can we fly in the sky? Then I would have never had some of the most incredible experiences, seeing new places, meeting new people, unless I took a car. And, that takes a long time sometimes. And sometimes, I don't want to cross a whole ocean in boat. That takes a long time too. So, I mean, it's just incredible to see how far things can advance with somebody somewhere's belief in a possibility. All right. So, some ideas to inspire your year. Focus on the seeds, inputs over outputs. We're not chasing perfection. We're chasing progress, baby steps all the way. And belief is the foundation. And so, one of the ways you can really, that maybe can motivate you and energize you to get excited about 2025 is to imagine that it is December 31st, 2025, and you are writing a press release about everything you accomplished this year. Okay. So you might be driving or you might be doing something, but I want you to do this exercise because it's a lot of fun. And imagine that you're writing this press release and you are the headline. What does it say? What goals did you crush? How did you show up or who did you impact? Imagine I'm the reader of the story. Okay. Walk me through the process. Start with your name. Okay. So whoever it is listening, Lucy, Bob, John, I see you, Miss Mary, announces extraordinary year of growth, impact, and possibility in 2025. And I want you to write out your big wins, both personal and professional. How did you make it happen? What sacrifices did you make? What opportunities did you embrace? And I want you to write this press release like the most incredible year of your life just happened. And what were the big wins that you celebrated? And how did you make it happen? And if you feel brave, share it on your social or send it to me over at Christy at ChristyPennison.com. I'd love to read it, cheer you on in this year, and then even save it and send it to you back to you in 2026 this time next year. Okay. I challenge you to do your 2025 press release and send it on over. Okay, folks, Christy at ChristyPennison.com. So that way I can see what you're excited about this year and what goals you are planning to crush. And if you haven't done this exercise yet, there's another one you can do. Okay, these are just some things to help you kickstart your year. I have created something special. Some of y'all have done it already, but if you haven't, it's called the Dream It, Write It, Do It workbook. It's free, it's fun, it's packed with tools to help you map out your year with clarity and intention. And so, if you are wanting to deep dive into reflecting on last year and then coming up with some really cool goals that is aligned with where you're at, then head over to inspiringpossible.com and you'll find that workbook that you can download waiting for you right on the home page. Download it, grab your favorite pen, get you your favorite beverage, get in a cozy chair or a great working space and start dreaming up of what 2025 can look like. And I'll be honest with you folks, dreaming up things is an art. I'm not gonna lie. I think part of what kind of got me in a more burnout state towards the end of the year is like I was doing so much that I wasn't dreaming. I was doing so much that I wasn't reconnecting to a higher power, and that's really important to me. I wasn't allowing myself the time to reflect on what was really awesome all around me. And those things, when we stop dreaming, it's hard to re-exercise that muscle. And I'm telling you folks, when we were young, we can do this pretty well. I mean, how many of y'all had imaginary friends? Okay. I know you did, don't lie. You either had imaginary friend or imaginary like whole world created. Okay. And so imagination is a gift, but dreaming is a gift too. And just start somewhere and you'll maybe be surprised at what you dream up or what comes up for you when you start to notice and reflect on last year and then also what's been on your heart to do in this new year. And so guess what? We also not only do I want you to craft this vision for 2025 and please 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 share it with me. I'd love to hear it. We also have some exciting things coming on the podcast this year. We're going to explore some more um, topics such as belief systems, how to create really actionable steps, overcoming fear. We're going to have awesome future guests. And we're also going to do a little bit different. This year I'm really hoping to do a little bit more storytelling and hopefully share some stories of people that are like me and you. They're just like me and you. We all together in this. We have different backgrounds, experiences, but they're human and they still put on their pants leg one at a time. Okay. And we're going to hopefully hear their stories because I have been deep diving on some social media on some people's incredible stories. Like this one girl who freaking got on a bike and bicycled from Germany all the way down to the bottom of Africa. I mean, that's cool. Okay. But you ain't got to do something so big like that. A cool thing could be this year is I'm prioritizing time with my friends, or I want to do something that connects me to other people once a week, or I want to say no to something. Sometimes when I do tell these inspiring stories, I do also want to balance it to help you understand that there's things possible for you, but you don't have to like just recreate everything. You can dream up cool possibilities that align with you and the things that are on your heart to do. So, this year we're going to take things to the next level. Think inspiration meets action with side of fun and real talk. So, coming your way. So, as we go into this year, let's stop letting impossible hold us back. Instead, let's believe in ourselves, make a plan, take those steps, and create a year we feel good about. Because, folks, anything is possible. Go over there, get that workbook at inspiringpossible.com, write your press release, send it to me, and get started today. Until next time, I hope you go dream up something big and write it down. And then we're going to spend this year doing the darn thing. Until next time.
That's all for today on Inspiring Possible. If you found a little inspiration today, please go on over to iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you tune in to listen to leave us a comment and rate us. Also, make sure and link up with me at inspiringpossible.com to get the free Dream It, Write It, Do It workbook. And don't forget to follow us on social media and share this with anyone who needs to be inspired. Remember, if you can believe it, it's possible.